boy, man, Mike reacting to the apparent firing of Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel has been fired by the Miami Dolphins. There's been a ton of rumors surrounding him for the most part, and I'm just I don't have no fucking clue. I'm gonna say this about the NFL right now. It's just I there's no patience for one. Um, I will say this in that regard, like patience is probably not one of those things in the NFL where you look at it, where it's good, bad, and different. I look at this point, I just don't damn know. But Mike McDaniel is reportedly, like I said, just put out a few minutes ago for Adam Schefter. Just give me a minute, kind of go over a lot of things, but you got a lot of vacancies right now. The Dolphins, again, Tom Pelissero just put it out that he has been fired. Dolphins have fired Mike McDaniel. That is hella interesting. I don't like it. I'm just going to be honest, but it's my opinion and my thoughts that I don't think there's any loyalty with coaches anymore when it comes down to a lot of this money that these quarterbacks are getting. I think teams are just paying too much money to a lot of these quarterbacks. I don't think they're worth it. The reason why I've come to that conclusion, because I don't know if you guys also know the news regarding the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They fired yet another offensive coordinator. Liam Cohen, obviously he left to go coach the Jacksonville Jaguars. Are doing a pretty good job there, obviously. But you got John Harbaugh, quarterback. I think we know who that quarterback, Lamar Jackson, is. You got Miami Dolphins. They fired Mike McDaniel, largely due to the fact that both of those guys kind of not seeing eye to eye. There's been a ton of inconsistencies, and they paid Tua a hell of a lot of money. That's a lot of changes. Like I don't know where exactly where the hell it's going, but I believe that they're going to try to trade Tua. I don't think so. I don't think the Miami Dolphins are in a position where they're going to rebuild again. I mean, they got a decision to make with Tyreek Hill and whether or not they're going to keep him, after that devastating knee injury that he suffered. I think he's as good as gone. He's another one of those guys. For me personally, I think he's as good as gone. John Harbaugh, like I said, it's a lot of guys out here that's being traded, but considered being traded. Like I said, a lot of people said that Lamar Jackson could be requesting a trade from Baltimore. I don't know how true that is, but that is a rumor that's out there. But Samuel Davis said, I thought they were going to keep Mike McDaniels. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I heard the same thing. That's why I say, you guys, I know a lot of people like to come at me, and a lot of creators out there. We're reporting rumors. We're reporting rumors, and we're reporting news. Now, oftentimes, things can change at a drop of a dime in the NFL, where, a lot of us seemingly are wrong about a lot of things, but this is what happens in the NFL. You can think one way 1 minute, and the next minute you're left looking completely dumb or completely smart. But that's just the way the NFL roll. Like I said before, man, it's like you saw a ton of rumors in regards to, a lot of these coaches. Said welcome home, coach. So I'm assuming that a lot of Miami Dolphins said Tua will be traded or released. I mean, I've heard that also. Vlad, what's going on? Jeremy, what's going on, brother? So a third of the league changing coaches. Yeah, like I said, man, I'm gonna be real. I think the NFL is just in a position where I think the owners, something has to like. This is my personal opinion when it comes down to the market, and I'm talking about the quarterback market. The quarterback market had destroyed any resemblance of consistency. There's never going to be consistency where you're paying quarterbacks 50, 60, 70 million dollars. There's never going to be any consistency. So I think right now it's going to be the new norm. I think the way things are, you just get prepared for this type of stuff. I don't see this changing anytime soon with so many of these damn these 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 contracts with quarterbacks. We have Lamar Jackson. Trying to look at Lamar Jackson's contract real quick. Mike McDaniel to Atlanta. Like I said, I like Mike. I like his passing concepts. I think it's brilliant. He does exactly what I like personally. Like I said, me playing quarterback position, one of the routes I like throwing is that crossing route. I can see, for me personally, I could see routes, and anticipation for me is something that I worked on a lot. So I like crossing routes, and you see him with a guy like Tariq Hill, speed receivers, whether it's big receivers. Like Mike McDaniel is very good at that. And obviously, he comes for that Kyle Shanahan tree, so he understands, how to incorporate those things. So me personally, I would fucking love. It would be a dream for Mike McDaniel to be here in Atlanta with his passing concepts, to go with Bijan Robinson, knowing how to utilize him in the running game and the passing game. It'll be a fucking dream for me personally to have Mike McDaniel in here. We got T. Lloyd. What's going on, brother? Mike, all these teams trying to avoid the quarterback development at the time it takes for it to lack patience is killing the NFL. I mean, that's it, bro. Like I said, man, it's the lack of patience. I mean, the patience is the unwillingness to develop the quarterback properly. And when you don't develop the quarterback properly, that's what leads to impatience. So when you neglect the foundation and the basics of the quarterback position, which is, footwork, being able to bootleg, and not just run guys, use a lot of RPO, get the ball out of these guys' hand and just put them in the shotgun and say, oh, yeah, good. No. These guys have to understand, like these guys need to go learn how to get the ball out of the head quickly, learn how to bootleg, boot to the right, boot to the leg, the proper footwork, all those types of things. Being able to process all these things, you got to learn, being able to play under center, in shotgun, and I think they're neglecting all those aspects of the quarterback position. And when you neglect the basics from the quarterback position, everything else falls apart. So it's gonna forever be like this until they decide that these guys are gonna. So this is Lamar Jackson's contract, and this is why I say this is, until they get this. This is until the NFL does something about the quarterback position in regards to their into the quarterback position in regard to they having some sort of a cap number, but like the cap hit for Lamar Jackson, you're talking about 40. It's got a $14 million signing bonus. but the cap hit for Lamar Jackson if they decided to get rid of him, uh, $74 million for a cap hit for Lamar Jackson. The base is about $50 million with a signing bonus of 14. So that's about 65 million dollars for Lamar Jackson. The base signing as well as the signing bonus. So that's about 65 million dollars for Lamar Jackson. $60 million for Lamar Jackson for a guy that can't get to the Super Bowl, that barely get to the playoffs. Like it's not smart, man. I'd rather have an offensive mind coach because we can get. I think I wouldn't be opposed to bring in a Jeff Ulbrich. Also, bringing back a Jeff Ulbrich, although I don't think he'll be back. We will see. The Falcons have. We've seen some things in regards to Robert Salah, him interviewing for the Falcons, requested to interview him for the head coaching position here in Atlanta. So we'll see how that goes. I do like that. He's a hard-nosed, tough guy. And I think it'll fit well with the Atlanta Falcons culture in regards to how things are seen now. I just think the Falcons just need a tough-minded coach to take a lot of shit. So I like that. And again, you guys can check out the heavy hitters. We went in great detail about majority of the head coaches, but like I said, we will hit those. We will hit those. Who do you think would be a good head coach fit if we bring Mike McDaniel in for the offense coordinator? Me personally, I think John Harbaugh fits perfectly for what this offense is already. The defense is already. So if you're looking to compete immediately, John Harbaugh is my number one go-to. If he were a guy like Brian Flores, like I'm not looking for no pussyfooters. Okay, I'm tired of the smiling, I'm tired of the giggling, I'm tired of the, all shucks bullshit. Like all of them can kiss my natural black ass. I'm tired of this pussy ass football. I'm tired of this bitch ass football. I need a motherfucker like Kirby Smart. They're gonna punch your fucking lights out if it gets to that. I need somebody with some energy. I need somebody with some cojones. That's what I'm so over this pussy ass coaching NFL culture. We got a bunch of bitches at in the media that just want things to go their way, and we need a coach that's gonna tell them, fuck you, this is my team. Fuck you, this is how I do things. That's what we need. We need more Bill Belichick. We need more Tony Dungy. We need more Harbaugh, Jim Harbaughs. Like we need we need people that's not gonna tell you what they need. So that's for me. Anybody that's not a pussyfooter. Like I said, I know everybody talk about Kubiak, which is all good and all. What I'm not opposed to it, but I'm tired of pussyfooters. But a lot of people are already jumping on the Mike McDaniel board. But like I said, I will not be surprised. Like if Matt Ryan is that guy as the team president or somewhere in the front office, that's going to play a significant role in regards to how football operations are held in Atlanta. Mike McDaniel is definitely one of those guys that you want to kind of keep an eye on coming to Atlanta, whether it's a head coaching job or an offensive coordinator position. So I'm bringing in Mike McDaniel because he's familiar with the Atlanta Falcons, and maybe he isn't the hard-nosed guy, but like I said, he's been here in Atlanta. He understands what Mr. Blank wants. He understands what the fans want. And like I said, I just think he fits. I personally think he fits perfectly because he has the experience as a play caller. He has the experience in being with the Atlanta Falcons and the culture surrounding that. So like I said, I love it. I love the idea. And plus he's a nigga, okay? Yeah, I say that. Yeah, he's a nigga, okay? He's a half a nigga. Just like Desmond Ritter. Seriously, John, how you doing? But I don't I think with the concepts with him working with a left quarterback. Like I said, just everything. Me personally, I think Mike McDaniel just fits perfectly with what everything the Atlanta Falcons are right now. He didn't have, Devin A. Chain. I'm not saying that he's a bad running back. He got hurt quite often, missed a few games, and that kind of hurt the Miami offense. But you got a Bijan Robinson, man, and potentially a Tyler Algier coming back if the Falcons find a way to, get some money if another team doesn't look. If another team isn't interested in bringing Tyler Algier in as a starter, you can have those. So he got two weapons at running back position. Hopefully, if you don't bring back Tyler Algier, you can bring in another running back to kind of fit exactly what he wants to do. So, like I said, for me, I know y'all like Clint Kubiak, but I think Mike McDaniel, I think he fits perfectly for what the Atlanta Falcons. It's a modern approach in the passing game. It's a what he likes to do too. His passing concepts. That's what I'm focused on. Like I know a lot of people have his passing concepts, his rock concepts. It's just beautiful. It's artwork, if you ask me. I think it's art. You get this guy, a Drake London, possibly a Kyle Pitts coming back, Bijan Robinson. Man, I'm telling you, this Falcons offense will be unfreaking believable with Mike McDaniel at the helm. What do you think the odds of the Giants getting? I mean, I think it's probably perfect. It's a perfect fit for John Harbaugh in New York. But the thing is, the New York media, they're one of the dumbest people in the universe. They just like to ask stupid questions over and over again, and it drive you crazy. So if you're going to go to the New York, if you're going to go to New York and deal with the New York media, yeah, you got to have tough skin there. So I think him being the coach, I think he's kind of fit for that. But like I said, at some point in time in New York, it's going to get old. It's going to grow old, and I don't know if he has the patience to deal with that stupid New York media and the New York fan base. This is shaping up to be the Falcons to have a good crop of coaches to pick from. Yeah, I do. But I think he's probably fit. Me, I think he'll probably end up with the Giants, in my opinion. I mean, what they have, their young quarterback, Mr. Jackson Dart. He's had a lot of injuries, kind of like JJ McCarthy. Um, he'll be able to kind of fine tune him a bit. And like I said, I just think it's a perfect fit for him with the Giants, to be honest, Harbaugh. Yeah, Mr. Blank is enough. Mr. Nice Guy, Raheem Terry, Rich McKay, Taker. Yeah, like I said, man. I think it's just in a. I think right now we're in the era of Josh Blank is a lot more integrated into what the Atlanta Falcons team is doing in regards to like I said, cause Pop getting older, man. Like not to say that Mr. Blank is not gonna be a major part of things, but I think, his son Josh he wants in. And I think he's definitely been you saw the picture of him being on the sideline. You saw him in the draft room. So they've been doing. He's been involved a lot more. So maybe not just solely Mr. Blank, but him taking his son Josh Blank a whole lot seriously. I think it's a good thing. Um, I don't think Matt LaFleur, but Mike LaFleur is probably another one of those guys. Like I said, we did our show on that. Like I said, I don't talk about basketball. I refuse to. Basketball way too divisive. I just refuse to. But y'all can hear it over the Truth channel. Like I said, he did a show last night on Trae Young. But man, Mike has officially retired from the NBA. All right, if it ain't WNBA and talking about the ladies, Angel Reese, and all the ladies over there. Yeah, I don't talk NBA. Like I said, too divisive. It's too stupid. It's too political. Like if you don't like this person and that you don't like that person that's not well liked, they do a whole, and I'm talking about a whole campaign to like a whole smear campaign to screw a player just because you don't like him or he's not well received by the NBA. Too much politics in the NBA. So NBA can kiss my natural ass. Okay, I'm up for all football. Like if I wanted drama, I watch the WWE, which I do. Jonathan, what's going on, man? Corey, what's going on? Mark Daniel, what's going on? Like I said, I'm not surprised by the firing of Mike McDaniel, but like I said, me personally, if I were to bring him in, whether it's a head coach or the offensive coordinator, I personally think that he fits perfectly with what the Atlanta Falcons are right now. Currently, obviously, he has a good resume in regards to him being a play caller, offensive guru for the most part, if you want to use that term. But he has a good offensive mind. And like I said, I like him. I like Mike McDaniel for the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know if he'll be at top of our list, but it's someone to think about. Again, if the Falcons want to go down that road and to back down memory lane, if you want to go down back memory lane and bring in Mike McDaniel, I'm all for it, largely due to his ability to call plays. And me personally, I think you can develop defensive coordinators, defensive play callers, and work on a lot of things as far as the development of defensive players. Like I said, the Falcons already have guys there, and if you just want to, if you want to keep with what the Atlanta Falcons, you can name Nate Ollie a defensive coordinator and allow Jeff Ulbrich to move, because I think Nate Ollie did a very good job with our defensive line, defensive front. So you can bring back Nate Ollie and Jeff Ulbrich, keep them here, and just name Mike McDaniel the head coach, and have someone else. And like I said, you can develop defensive minds over time, and that's just my thing. And it's hard for me personally to have a offensive play caller, that fits and suits the NFL. So, like I said, I like it. I think Atlanta Falcons are going to get Malik Willis or Jacoby Brissett in free agency. Now, like I said, you got to figure out, one, what you're going to do with Mike. You got to figure out what you're going to do with Kirk. I think it's a foregone conclusion that Kirk Cousins may be gone. But look, man, I'm gonna say it like this. I don't get happy over guys having a handful of games. Okay? That's me. It's about consistency. And that's for any quarterback. Jacoby Brissett, is he a good quarterback and put up some good numbers in a few games, a handful of games? Absolutely. I think he's the prime example of that. Same thing that goes for a guy like Russell Wilson at this point in time in his career. Mr. Crab Legs, who I don't want no parts of. You can giggle and laugh with him all you want to, and that's fine for you, but I don't want Mr. Crab Legs nowhere near the Falcons. Malik Willis, I just don't know if he's good enough for the Atlanta Falcons. Does he have good skills? Absolutely. He's a top-tier athlete, but I don't give a damn about no top-tier athlete. You got to be able to consistently put up numbers. It's consistently. Can you consistently put up those numbers? And that right there, I don't know. I'm tired of experimenting with quarterbacks. Um, a lot of what Malik does, it reminds me of Marcus Mariota. Yeah, I think they're terrific athletes, but when it comes down to actually running a team, being consistent at quarterback and showing us what he can do on a consistent basis, I haven't seen that yet. But I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him in for a cheap deal if he's available. But like we're talking about making him a starter, nah, that's a little bit too far when you talk about Jacoby Brissett or Malik Willis. But I'm willing to bring him in just to see, what he can do. But like all these people saying he need to be the starter and he need to be the starter for the Falcons. How could it be any worse? Look, it could be worse. Okay, it could be worse. There's a reason why he wasn't a first round pick like that. Okay, it's a reason why these guys didn't go. And it's not just politics. I know a lot of people say politics, but it's the inconsistencies. You look at the school and the teaching. Yeah, he's had, I believe it was Hugh Freeze that was his quarterback guy. But like I said, man, it's all about consistency, not just all about these guys' abilities. Do you think Mike McDaniel stuck with Tua too long? I don't think Tua was that good to begin with. I think the Miami Dolphins jumped to a conclusion by giving him that contract. I don't think Mike McDaniel stuck with him too long. I think he was kind of pressed by the Miami Dolphins organization. Again, going back to these contracts, when you give guys $50 million, you kind of forced to stick with those guys. So I don't think Mike was forced to. I don't think Mike wanted to. I think the contract and the money to these guys was forced. It's the same thing dealing with the Baltimore Ravens. Like you got a $74 million dead cap hit if you decide to get rid of Lamar Jackson. So I think that was one of the main reasons why John Harbaugh was fired. He's done, in my opinion. I think he was done with Lamar Jackson. I think he was done with Lamar Jackson, or could it be the other way around? The organization wants to get rid of Lamar Jackson, and John Harbaugh wasn't feeling it, and maybe Lamar Jackson may ask for a trade. Like I don't know. Any of these scenarios could be the case, but like I said, as far as I'm concerned, man, it's like when you give these quarterbacks these 50, 60, $70 million contracts, you're kind of forced to deal with the player rather than the head coach and the coaches in general. So the organization, and that's why I said there has to be a cap. So there has to be some sort of a loyalty in regard to these franchises, to be honest. Mm. Yeah, like I said, I don't think a lot of these organizations want to get rid of a lot of these coaches, but when you pay these guys 50, $60 million, this is kind of what things are. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. What I'm hearing, Vlad, is the Ravens wanted to fire Todd Monken and Harbaugh refused. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the same thing in regards to Todd Monken. Like I said, I think John. I mean, see, this is one of the things with the head coaching position that I think that got Raheem fired outside of the obvious in regards to him. But I think the main thing that got Raheem fired, what he just totally miscalculated, is yeah, you do have to have level of loyalty with your coaching staff. But if they suck, they suck. Okay, if they suck, they suck. And I think a lot of these coaches stick with their friends and their counterparts far too long, knowing that they fucking suck. Todd Monken did not suck. Okay? He designed a whole offense, redesigned that entire offense for Lamar Jackson. for Derrick Henry, and he did a good job. So if being a number one and top three every year under Todd Munkett is not good enough, and you want your head coach to fire him because your punk ass quarterback can't get over the hump, your offense can't get over the hump, your defense can't get over the hump, I'm walking away just like John. And like I said, if that is true. And I said, when the last time you had 8 coaches available openings, and like I said, it's been like this, but look, I think with so much talent, in the league, you know, I think a lot of these coaches are expected to make it happen so quickly. Again, man, this is why I said before. I don't believe in giving quarterbacks $50 million because this is what we're seeing. You putting way too much pressure on these coaches to get it done in 2 years. To get it done. And it's not even the fact that you're not allowing these guys to show any type of improvement. You want these guys to make a big push in the playoffs quickly in 2 years. And if you're not making it to the Super Bowl or making a deep playoff push, like you're firing these guys. And this is what happens when you pay these quarterbacks $40-50 million. The expectations start to drive the league, and this is what happens. I'm a cut it short because at 11:20, you guys, the press conference for Mr. Blank will be coming on. So 11:20. So head over to Atlanta Falcons YouTube channel. You can find also on Instagram. They go live on Instagram as well as here on YouTube. So I'm going to get ready to get everything situated. And like I said, if you guys want to go back through our show on The Heavy Hitters, THEE, and check out our breakdown with coaches. We're going to do a few more on a 6-man K-Styles. We're going to talk about Raymond, he was fired. Yeah, that's crazy. But like I said, I'm not surprised. That's just where the NFL is right now. When you put so much money in that quarterback position, everybody else got to go. There's no loyalty to anything once you start playing that quarterback 40, 50, 60, 70 million dollars like you're doing Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson got a 74 cap hit. Okay, 74 on the cap, 74 million on the cap. And when that happens, everybody else is expendable. But like I said, man, I will be going 6-man K-Styles. We will be going live today to expand on a few. We're gonna go over some NFL playoff predictions in regards to that. We're gonna preview some of those. But like I said, stay tuned for more news updates. Like I said, we're gonna keep them coming out. But head over to the Atlanta Falcons YouTube channel. You can find on Instagram also, where you can check out the live press conference that Mr. Blank is going to hold. It's always the end of the season. So whether or not we see Baby Boy Blank, if I'm going to be, see if we're going to see Baby Boy Blank on the side of him, or we see any Greg Beatles beside him. So I'm going to be focused on that. And like I said, getting ready for that. That's come on at 11:20 a.m. So you guys continue to support your boy, Mad Mike. Hit that subscribe button if you want questions. Oh, we're gonna do the college football breakdown. Too. I'll give my expectations on the college football playoffs coming up real soon too. Yeah, we're gonna keep it up. Like I said, it's gonna be very interesting. We got a lot of stuff going on around the football scene and sports league. But like I said, if you want your thoughts on that Trey Young, head over to OG Truth TV. Okay, OG Truth TV. He did a breakdown on the Trey Young. He did a breakdown of the Trey Young trade. And like I said, I have officially retired from NBA. So don't ask me shit about no damn NBA unless you pay. And that's the bottom line because man, Mike said so. I'm out of here, man. Peace.